Alright, and welcome to the Cursed Spirit walkthrough. So this is going to be just a simple explanation on how cursed spirits are made to kind of finish the, because you can say like trifecta of videos of walkthroughs and all that, and also just to give you all something during this week as we have been busy with the actual series, so we can't do it this week, so you're in this instead. So, this is a quick little walkthrough on how to do curse spirits, and at the end, I won't make an example, but I'll do a quick walkthrough on how to actually fill out the curse spirit sheet. So, curse spirits are the enemies that sorcerers were made to fight, a collection of negative emotions and curse energy given off by people coalesced and given a life. Curse can be like animals, mindless and aimless, but everything a human can be, a curse can be as well eventually. After all, what's more human than our own emotions given life? The only way to kill curse spirits is if a sorcerer uses CE in their attacks. Creatures cannot drop below 1 HP unless they are damaged by an attack infused with CE. So if you have CE depletion, you can't kill it. If you're attacking with just a normal, non-CE infused weapon, you can't kill them. But curse tools can kill them, as curse tools inherently are infused with CE, and that's kind of the point of them. So you don't gotta imbue to knock them out. The CE depletion can kill curses thing kinda isn't a problem, unless you're like really early on where CE is pretty limited. But other than that, you kind of don't gotta worry about that. That's more so important for stuff like, oh, I want to drop like a I want to drop like a crane on this curse. Like, yeah, you can do that. It's not gonna kill it, but you can do it. So, one big change, unlike in JJK, is that in JJK proper, sorcerers at a grade level should easily be able to take out a curse of same grade level. So a grade 2 sorcerer should be able to mop the floor with a grade 2 curse. We kind of changed that to make it a little more even. You still should win. If a grade 2 sorcerer goes up against a grade 2 curse, the grade 2 sorcerer should still win, but it's going to be a little harder of a fight and it's going to be more even. This is just to make curses a little more threatening because, let's be honest, in actual jutsu proper, they aren't threatening like at all unless you're like special grade or above. You're not threatening to anyone, so to make them an actual threat, we increase their general power level, and also just to make leveling up a little more manageable, because you don't want to have to start just throwing grade 2 grade 1 curses at your grade 3 sorcerers, because oh, grade 3 curses mean nothing now, so I have to do the next level up to even remotely make it an even fight. And so to prevent that, we kind of increase their levels a little bit. Curse Spirit Advantage. Curse Spirits have unique biologies, and their biological restraints are not. They don't have to adhere to normal biology. Their curses, their shape, size, characteristics, all that can be whatever they want, as they're entirely made up of curse energy. The metaphysical existence makes it impossible for non-sorcerers to perceive or touch them. Living humans who have been cursed can only tell they have strange symptoms, not realizing cursed spirit behind it, like the baker girl from JJK proper. Non-sorcerers whose lives are put in danger by a curse may gain the ability to see it if if they are in a life or death situation. When curses die, their bodies turn to black dust and disappear, unless their core is preserved, which that's weird. That also means physical damage won't affect their ability to keep a technique active unless you fully kill them. On top of that, due to curses being made entirely of CE, they possess a lot more of it than most humans. However, curses still have a set amount of CE, and that set amount of CE isn't how much CE they have in total, because if a curse were to reach 0 CE, they would disappear. So they have a set amount of CE they can use before they start disappearing from nothingness, because they have no CE left, which means they're dead. On top of that, curses can regenerate much differently from humans, as unlike normal humans, humans can't regenerate unless you use RCT, and even this curse regeneration is a lot different from RCT. First off, doesn't heal any status effects, like bleed, doesn't heal bleed, it just regenerates you. But the regeneration is much more effective for curses, and based on the grade level, determines what amount of healing you roll. Grade 5s can't heal. Grade 4 start at 1d8. Grade 3 is 2d8. Grade 2s, 3d8, plus TL, of course, and then grade 1s, 4d8, special grades 5d8, and disaster curses, which technically isn't a real category, but we're giving it that because if we do special grades, we're going to have such a large gap, so we just made disaster curses as well, which have 68. As the curse increases, they also gain buffs, much like sorcerers. At special grade, they gain access to an archetype, like a sorcerer would. At disaster level, they no longer have to have the effects of curse actions, which will be explained in a little bit. Almost all curses have access to curse skills, and once they gain a certain level of intelligence, they also become able to learn jutsu skills. Also, curses gain a CT at semi grade 1. However, don't let that stop you from using special abilities that are related to CE. Like if you have a fire curse and their ability, and they can like summon fire and all that, but it costs curse energy, you can let them do it, even though it's like, oh, that's technically a CT, but whatever, who cares? Let them do it, but it's not like fully a CT, because technically it's you can mess around the rules a little bit and give them a CT by calling it their biology. You know, it's a part of their biology to do that, but overall, don't go too crazy with it, as it's still not a CT, and they shouldn't have a CT until they're semi-grade 1, but you can give them CT-adjacent things. To be a clever curse, you can't count on curses for anything, not even to stay stupid. Most curses are near mindless. The more powerful they get, the smarter they become. Intelligence level 2 curses and above gain the ability to speak. Intelligence level 3 curses and above start to gain access to their true potential and many more complex jujutsu abilities. Curses grade 3 usually have a 1 in intelligence, and curses grade 2 and above get a lot more intelligence. Again, you can kind of ignore that rule for grade 3s, but that's just the general rule of thumb is grade 3 should still be in the mindless. They're just kind of wild animals territories, which intelligence level 1, it gives them animalistic intelligence, which means they can use their biology and have access to scam and sorcery. Intelligence level 2, they gain some intelligence, and this is where a lot of stuff comes in for them. They gain access to basic speech, a couple words, simple domain, output/coding, so they can add output to their attacks, and also they can code incoming attacks with either output or imbue, even though they don't have access to imbue, and they have access to their CT and all abilities innate to it, which again they can only get at semi-grade 1, so theoretically you can have a semi-grade 1 curse with a 2 in intelligence. At intelligence 3, they gain average human intelligence, which they gain access to semi-complex speech, imbuing and imbue stacking, so they can actually increase their physical attacks, and gain access to all CE/CT related abilities, such as extensions, maximum output, etc. Again, they can get their CT at intelligence level 2, but they gain more complex abilities at intelligence 3. Intelligence 4 is when you get above average human intelligence. They gain access to attacks found in martial arts slide and gain the ability to make binding vows. At intelligence level 5, they get higher human intelligence and they gain access to domain expansions as well as jujutsu skills, which they should gain jujutsu skills equal to their appropriate grade level. So they're a grade 2 curse. They should gain grade 2 sorcerer jujutsu skill amount, but you can fudge that around a little bit, do whatever you want. You know, it's a curse. If you want to give them more jujutsu skills, give them more. If you want to give them less, give them less. To wake a curse, as mankind rules like a never-ending storm, a curse cruelty will grow forevermore. A curse can be just as smart as a sorcerer, and once they reach that point, they get the same ability of sudden growth as humans. So, at intelligence level 4 or above, curses gain the ability to a version of philosophy of a sorcerer. Once they reach 25 HP or there is some type of intense emotional moment, they can roll to unlock a new move, a new biological factor, or anything of the sorts, maybe a new jutsu skill, something like that. Again, it's philosophy of the sorcerer, but for curses, the biggest example being plastered all over here with Mahito just growing throughout the fight, because he can do that. And most curses aren't going to be able to do this, even at intelligence level 4. A lot of them have reached their peak when they do run into combat and all that, but some curses do have the ability to learn more and grow. And those curses are the ones you want to watch out for. Those are the curses that are going to give you a real problem if a curse you are fighting has more to learn and grow, as a curse's potential is nigh infinite if they still have some left in them. So, curse actions. So, curse actions are specifically for proper boss fights. And by proper boss fights, I mean like one giant curse with like with a handful of smaller, weaker curses around them, the minion type curses. This is for if you want to give a proper boss 1v1, 1v like, not 1v1, but 1v3, 1v players, 1v and some minions versus that. A raid boss of sorts, if you will. A stronger curse than most you're going to fight. And to make this, have some proper oomph and to actually give them a chance of winning without having to just throw a grade 1 at them, they gain curse actions, which curse actions are incredibly similar to legendary actions in D&D 5e. You can get these to specifically boss curses, which you can only give it to, there can only be one boss curse, aka only one curse can have curse actions, and you shouldn't be giving it to them every single combat encounter. Again, say this for special big fights. So boss curses grade 5, 4, and 3 get 1 curse action per turn. Second and first get 2 per turn, and special disaster and vengeful spirits, if this vengeful spirit is not second or first grade strength level, get 3 curse actions per turn. Only 1 curse at a time in combat encounter can have curse actions / be the boss. Curse actions can only be used after, or hang on a second. I have not made a boss curse in a hot second, so give me a second. Curse actions are actions that curse can take on the players 1 turn after the curse's turn for that round. So, if your curse goes, you can't just immediately at the start of the next round use curse actions. You gotta wait. Well, not next round, next turn. You gotta wait a turn, one player's turn, before you can use curse actions on their turn. And you can only use curse actions on their turn. Obviously, you can bend this rule a little bit if need be, but overall, you can only use curse actions one turn after the curse's turn and on a player's action. But again, bend that however you want. Curse actions will be categorized into 3 categories: simple, advanced, and special. Curses grade 5, 4, and 3 can use simple curse actions. Curses grade 2nd and 1st can use simple and advanced. Special grade or above can use any curse action. Curse actions will be explained right now. So, you have simple curse actions, which is curse attacks. The curse attacks with their least damaging attack, and the damage is halved. Curse can move half its movement speed. Cannot be used if being targeted for attack. So basically, you can't just, if someone's attacking you, can't just use this curse action and then move out of the way so you get out of the range. Not how that works. You have to use it before they are being targeted for an attack. At advanced, you have the curse can use the regeneration ability, but the amount healed is half. CE cost is still applied. The second one is uses some or another part of their weird biology. Curse gains advantage on a sneak attack or advantage to an attack, can only be used on a target once. The special ones are where we get to some real good ones. Wreaking half max curse energy can only be used once per combat. This is effectively just a curse version of Breathe. Curse can use a version of perfect CT control, but the move costs 10 extra CE to use. For the rest of the turn, all players' DC saves for status effects are made at disadvantage, which, keep in mind, once you get to disaster grade, all of these half effects are removed and they just get it fully, which a little insane for this one, as that's just a full CE heal, but other than that, it's pretty solid once you get to that. That may or may not be changed. Who knows? We'll find out. Here's this first Curse Spirit grade stat. So, Curse Spirits all start out at 111 in all their stats, like normal humans, but they work on a specifically point buy system of you use up points to put into their stat block to increase it. So, depending on what curse, depends on how many stats they can get, which these varying numbers are kind of just the low end and high end. So a low end of grade 3 would have 4 stats, but a high end of grade 3s would have 6 stat points to put in. Same thing with HP, CE, and AC. Same thing. Low end curse, grade 3. High end, low end, high end, low end, high end, so on and so forth. Which also you can mess around with this a bit. Like, you can give them low end HP, but high end CE, so on and so forth. On top of that, this is how many curse skills they get, which up to the DM, how much they want to give, and all that. Again, high end, low end. Curse skill restrictions, pretty self-explanatory. Actions per turn, this is how many actions per turn they get. And damage, so damage is not for damage that's already preset. So, like, for instance, imbue. Just because it says a D8 doesn't mean they get a D8 of imbue. Imbue, output, all that, same as a normal sorcerer. This is for, like, their attacks specifically, such as, like, any type of biological attack. You would follow this guideline, and obviously you can go a little over, a little under, but this is the general guideline for how much the minimum and maximum damage they can do, and anything in between works well. Anything in between or below they can use, but it's recommended not to use the below versions. So for CTs, you don't have to follow this. You can kind of get a little funky with the CTs and do whatever you want damage-wise for the CT, but if you have trouble like properly balancing the damage for CTs, then you should probably refer to this and all that. But overall, if you're given a curse of CT, treat it like you're making a normal CT. Give them like proper damage for their grade level and all that. Except for special grade. Just because they're a special grade doesn't mean you give them special grade CTs and like special grade damage. Don't do that. Special grade is just like they're a strong grade 1, and disaster curse is like they're special grade 1. Don't give them special grade stuff because they're a special grade curse. That's not how that works. So curse skills, as mentioned above, curse skills are abilities that curses gain, not entirely unlike XP skills for sorcerers. These skills buff curses in different ways, from minor buffs to more playstyle defining traits in order to even the odds against sorcerers. A lot of these skills may sound similar to buffs granted from curse biology that is intentionally designed. Though kept broader for more general uses, you may give your curses unique biological traits that have favorable benefits to curse skills, but be mindful of potential balancing issues when stacking the two. So, that means you can still give them biological buffs, such as like, oh, you're making a grasshopper curse. Okay, they have springy legs, like springy joints, so they gain +1 to dodge. You can do that as a biological feature and biological skill, but keep that in mind that you're also going to give them curse skills. So you might want to like not give them too many biological skills, or give them biological skills that counteract with the curse skills. So here are all the curse skills. Here's the amount they cost, description, all that. You can read through these on your own time. But yeah, a lot of these are pretty good. They're really strong. Evil bullet time is hysterical. And yeah. On top of that, if you go to this slide specifically, this is the stuff the finger bearers did. So if you want to give a curse finger bearer abilities, you would have this stuff. You would use this stuff. After that, we go into curse wombs, which curse wombs are, I explained it a lot more in the base Jujutsu video, but curse wombs are effectively just stage 1s of very strong boss fights. Curse wombs start off as weaker curses, and then as you do more damage to them, or as a traumatic event happens, they evolve and turn into a much stronger curse, which there are 3 versions of this. There is the basic non-sentient version, like the finger bearer ones. There is the sentient ones that are more grade, non-sentient ones are more like grade 5, grade 4. They're more, not stage haggers, but stage setters in a sense. You know, they're there to have like presence and ambiance of, hey, you gotta get this thing before time runs out. There is more grade 3 curses like Dagon, where they exist, they can fight, they can do all that, but also they can turn into a much stronger curse. And then there are vengeful curse spirit wombs, where they are incredibly strong. We're talking like grade 2, grade 1 curse strength, that then evolve into something much stronger as they were originally a human, and all that. So there are many different ways to have a curse womb evolve into a full-blown curse, either via time, as in after a certain amount of time pass, they turn to a full-blown curse after they take a certain amount of damage, or RP-based stuff. Again, I explain this a lot more in the actual system video. This is just a quick explanation. Same thing with vengeful curse spirits. I went over this a lot in the original video. Vengeful curse spirits, we kind of don't use them a lot because of how strong they are. Vengeful curse spirits are kind of the bosses of boss encounters. These are the things where it's like, if you don't want to do a disaster curse, but you want a really strong fight, you throw a vengeful curse spirit at them, as vengeful curse spirits are kind of insane. As HP and CE gets multiplied, their AC gets times 1.5, probably rounded down or up to you, and all their stats except for intelligence gets raised by 2 points, which is really insane because vengeful curse spirits are like originally sorcerers. So if you have an original sorcerer that's like, grade 2, grade 1, you can get some, you can create a very insanely strong curse. So we recommend you be careful with vengeful spirits and you save it for like the high end players, because vengeful spirits are real strong. Then there is Curse Spirit Taming / non-CT Shikigami training. I went into this a lot during the Jujutsu video proper, so if you want to watch that system video proper, go ahead. Basically, you can just tame curses, and they can just be a part of you, and they can do your stuff, and all that, and they can even be affected by your CT. You can go through that on your own time in the other video. But, if you scroll down right here, here is the sheet for making curses / Shikigami. I did not mean to do that. So yeah. Speaking of that sheet, you go right here. Here's the sheet. So that's name, grade level, and here's all the stats, which again, you would just look over to... Excuse me. You would just look over to here, see... So let's say you want to make a grade 3. Okay, you want to make a grade 3. Let's make it a more... low end. Okay, they have 4 points to spend, but only 1 second be a 3. So you would spend 2 points to make it a 3 in power, 1 point for a 2. So we're at 3 points already. And then you would do another one for technique, and well, there you go. That's how the point buy works. And for bonuses and all that, they're kind of up to you, as we don't give bonuses. So it's truthfully up to you and what kind of curse you want to make. As also keep in mind, this is the Shikigami sheet as well, so keep that in mind. So for bonuses to curses, kind of up to you, whatever you want to do. We recommend not going over like a 2 or a 3. For combat talent, same thing. We don't recommend going over like a 4 or 5. Keep it in line with what like normal sorcerers can do, and don't go too far over that for the bonuses. Over here, movement speed, black flash range, as they can, since they can imbue, they can indeed black flash. Same thing with here's their healing, sorcerer experience threshold, which yes, they do gain that. Jutsu skills, that's curse skills, which they gain at intelligence level 4. Here is the moves. So this is where you would put your Shikigami abilities, not Shikigami abilities, their biological abilities, CTs, all that stuff. Also, this is probably where you should put your own unique curse skills. As I forgot to mention that, is we recommend you can give curses unique curse skills based on what they are and all that. The curse skills we gave were just not curse skills, sorry. Curse actions. This is where you can put your unique curse actions for your boss curse. We recommend you don't go too crazy with it, but if you want to spice up your encounter, you can throw in your own unique curse actions. As the curse actions we gave were kind of just the general blanket terms. You can get a little more crazy with curse actions, much like legendary actions in D&D. So this is where that goes. Here's where the martial arts goes once you reach intelligence level 5. And that's about it. A question I do get a lot is like, oh, how do I make a curse? And not even how do I make a curse? How do I get inspiration for a curse. I can't come up with a curse. Something I recommend you do is honestly just look through a series you like, find like a monster character or something like that, or like groups of monsters, turn them into curses. Grab what they can do, give them abilities and all that, and just make it based off of that. You don't wanna be too fancy with it. You can just take from other sources that had much better ideas for like monsters and all that. You can just take from them. It works a lot, or at least not take, but get inspiration from other works and all that. But other than that, oh yeah, I guess HP, CE, AC, we already talked about that, but that's where it is. But other than that, that is it for the video, and this is probably going to be the last walkthrough type video we do until another system comes out, which keep an eye out for that. I should hopefully get that done by near the end of the summer, but we're gonna have to see how that goes. As I said that like a couple months ago that I would get it done soon, and it's not even close. So keep an eye out for that. But other than that, that's it. And I will see you next week for the start of the Goodwill event.